Hi, I'm Joshua Kemble, and I am an illustrator and graphic designer, and I'm also a cartoonist, and a full-time art director. So when I'm not full-time art directing or working on illustrations and graphic designs for clients, I am uh, quite often working on graphic novels and comics on stream that are stories that I've written, and then the most recent one is a collaborative project called Not Death But Love: The Strange Supernatural Story of Elizabeth Barrett Browning, a historical fiction graphic novel for Turner Publishing. That's pretty cool. And deals with Victorian spiritualism. And Frank was like, comics, but this will not be a comic stream. Tonight is another night where the stuff I have to work on my comics is like off stream stuff where I have to just kind of focus and really not be on stream. And so I want to give you guys content, and I want to give you guys content more often. And that's one of my commitments that I'm trying to make this year. And honestly, whether I was on stream or off stream, what I would probably do to reset my mind, because I've been working all day doing art and illustration in house and being creative for a living, which is what I do. But that can get really overwhelming. And so having an activity that like resets my mind before I kind of work on comics is really helpful for me and good for my mental health. So this is going to be a risk stream. And Frank was like, "Is this a risk stream?" I don't know if Frank likes risk streams, but that's what this is going to be. So I'm going to play the game of risk because on the side of being a cartoonist, I also have this secret ambition to become a grand master at Risk. I'm currently at master status in FFA rankings, and I want to be a grand master. Um, what happens if I don't become a grand master? What happens if I play this game and lose my master ranking because I lost to a complete beginner, which is all a possibility. Nothing big. It's just a hobby, but it's fun. It's kind of something I've gotten really into in the last few months, and I think it's kind of fun to stream these. So if you're down to be on board for a risk stream, stick around, and we're gonna dominate the world, hopefully. Before I get into that, I'm just going to mention my two graphic novels that are out. I have Two Stories, which is my graphic novel that talks about dealing with mental illness and trying to destigmatize conversations about hard topics like depression and panic disorder and other heavy topics like that, as well as a bit of memories from my childhood of learning how to deal with hypocrisy within a religious institution and how to navigate both playground politics as well as like a bunch of adult problems as well. So it's an autobiographical comic called Two Stories, and that is available to order. So if you like my streams and you haven't picked that up yet, please pick that up. If you have picked it up and you really want to advocate for the work that I do and support indie comics, then ask your local library to carry that book as well. And then there's one last book, which is Jacob's Apartment, which is my most recent graphic novel. And that is a coming of age love story about two roommates that are polar opposites. One of them loses a family member and is kind of struggling to navigate the meaning of their existence in the wake of losing a parent to cancer, and the other is struggling to kind of figure out her identity because of a broken relationship. And the two roommates are kind of polar opposites philosophically, but through these tumultuous circumstances, find themselves drawn together. And as they are drawn together, both their dreams and reality start kind of overlapping and interweaving. In a book that's kind of like if you took Eternal Sunshine for the Spotless Mind and mixed it in a blender with Ghost World, maybe throw in a little bit of Fun Home. Just think of, those movies that feel like a snapshot of life, trying to find the profundity in the everyday experience and in a first love experience. So that's Jacob's Apartment. And just like Two Stories, you can support that by picking it up at bookstores everywhere, asking your local comic shop to carry it. It's available through Diamond Distribution, or just basically just going to your local library and asking that they carry a copy of Jacob's Apartment. So Jacob's Apartment, 2 stories, those are my 2 wares. I'm going to be working on Not Death But Love off stream tonight. But before I do that, I'm going to do this reset, and hopefully maybe it'll be a reset for you, or it'll be a nice little soundtrack while you're being creative or while you're trying to learn, just like me, how to be better at Risk. So I am currently a master player, and we're going to get into our little Risk cam. Boom. And I think I'll move my head up again. Oh, hang on a sec. I need to kind of make sure this is set up so that you have a good view of my reactions, but at the same time, I don't want to impede your view of the game. Okay, so what we're seeing here is my username is Jordan the Snooty. I'm also going to have a Golden Road Brewing Mango Cart Mango Wheat Ale and finish off my little mango beers. I'm going to have one of those and play a game of Risk, and then we're going to do comics all night. So that's kind of the plan here, guys. All right. So as usual, I play FFA ranked games. Generally, I'm going to search at first to find games that are safer for me to play, which would be my rank or above, because those games are great. If I lose like a little bit of my FFA ranking. But if I play to a player ranked under me and get trounced, I risk losing my master status. Now, they don't call the game of Risk for nothing, because the reality is generally there aren't a lot of 6-player fixed map games that are master and above. So you usually have to play with players that vary from all over the place, which puts you in danger to play with new people. And poker players talk about this too. Sometimes it can be really dangerous to play with somebody who's never played poker, because they might make a wild bluff that nobody in their right mind who's a seasoned poker player would make, or make a move that no seasoned player would make. And in a weird way, it makes them very dangerous. It doesn't mean that it makes them a good player. It just makes them very dangerous because they can play very erratically. Well, it's just like that with Risk, where newer players are usually the ones that will suicide you, which is like when you have a bunch of troops built up on your continent. They're usually the ones that, they don't know how to play. They get to a point in the game where they realize there's just no chance they're going to win. They've been outplayed. They're like the kid who's getting beaten on the game board, and then they just want to throw the board because screw this game, right? They haven't learned the game yet. Those are some of the most dangerous players because they're kind of most prone to suicide into you and ruin both of your games. So it's an illogical move because it's not going to make the game better for you or them. Like you both lose the second that happens. But that is the risk that I'm going to be running in playing tonight, is like the newer players are a little dangerous. And quite often when you play FFA ranked games, if you want to play, you kind of have to take that risk of losing your rank, which makes it a little tense and fun. I'm very proud of having achieved the master status in this game. And so I'd be really bummed out if I lost it, but I'd be even more bummed if I wasn't able to play these games. Philip Chandler said howdy, and Gary said, well. Hi, guys. So tonight's another night where I have a lot of off-screen work to do on my comic, and so I'm doing a little bit of a stream while I play my little reset game before I work on comics all night. So welcome everybody in the chats, and let's find a game and get into it, and I'll walk you through the process of my thinking. So far, I've had an okay record of playing pretty successful games online. I am still waiting for one of these streams where I just make a fatal error and get completely destroyed, which is completely possible. And so that'll be fun. How's it going? And that's my wife in the background eating Doritos. Oh, they're like these. It's not Doritos. They're like, what are those called? popcorners, which are actually pretty good. They're like almost like a rice cracker, but like a chip. But then they also kind of taste a little bit like kettle corn. Everybody cares. All 5 people watching my stream right now care. So okay, so
hey, I've never seen your icon before.
yeah. So I was gonna mention the icon too. I got a new frame for my character. That's like a little pirate thing, and then the zombie definitely looks quite a lot like me. So all right, are you guys ready to risk? Let's do this. We're gonna find a game, which might take a few seconds. So the first thing I always do is, again, I'm gonna like, when I'm searching, I'm gonna see, hey, is there any game? That's strange. Well, I think that's not even an option right now to pick minimum ranks. I wonder why that is. That's interesting. Only see okay, so I don't think I can actually look for any games that are in that filter, because it looks like there's only one game. That's insane. I'm gonna let's go back to the main screen. I'm gonna quit out and see if that's the issue, or if it's literally just that slow, you guys. And while this is happening, how are you guys doing? What are you guys working on? Let me know in the chats. Do you find these risk streams enjoyable? Wow, there's only one game, so we might have to make a game. This one might actually take a while. My goodness. Okay, so I'm gonna make a game. So I'm gonna create a game. We're gonna go classic. We're gonna do the world domination game, and I don't want to add bots, but it seems like I only have bots as a option. This is really strange. There's something very strange happening with my account right now. Oh, I want to do FFA. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to try to get a 6-player game going, and we'll see how it goes. And maybe I wasn't on, maybe I was on 1v1. Let me try it again to just see if there's an open game. Okay, we're in business, you guys. There are open games. There's one that's fixed. And as long as there's not bots in there, I think we'll be good. Okay, we found a game. Good. And hopefully this is FFA, from what I understand. I mean, obviously it is FFA. I think it's fixed and just classic map. But I have made the mistake before of ending up on a weird map because I didn't pay attention. So we'll see. I guess I'm going to be magenta, you guys. I am a magenta zombie called Jordan the Snooty. Let me reduce the size of my head so you can see the map. I think it's fun when you can actually see the action and activity that's happening. And then I'll just move my head down just a little bit, and we'll all talk through what I'm thinking. Okay, guys. Oh, so it's my turn. I was like waiting for the person to take their turn. So I am in first position, and I think that I take... I think I'm going to make a play for... I think I'm going to make a slow play for England. My board placement is pretty good for that. And I'm going to fortify my 5 here. But England's pretty contested, so I'm kind of putting myself in a position where, depending on where the other players go, I can move from England. It looks like blue is going to move to Africa. But it does look like, depending on my positioning, I can either make moves towards North America. I can make moves, but it does look like green's going to go there. Hopefully they let my 5 through. Or I might play... I might also be stuck kind of playing like a continentless game. We'll see. It's all in green's hands at this point. And Reds. Is Red going to be a complete douchebag and keep that 3 up there? I think they are. All right. So Red is angling for South America, which means that at some point they might try to bring that 3 on down, or they might be being a little too bold, and they might want to keep their 3 up in North America to kind of prevent North America from being secured. It does look like green might be going for England. So that might mean we're going to do a continentless game. Frank said, I might be in and out. I'll be working on a speech for tomorrow, and I'll need to listen to the last one to see what I can correct and reuse. He said, I haven't decided whether I enjoy the Risk streams, but I'm happy to listen for a while and make jokes. Awesome. Gary said, I'm having a snack before going back to drawing, and I do find the Risk streams enjoyable and useful intelligence for Artcasters games. So Gary is watching this as like Oppo research, which is intimidating. So black is lining so green is going for this. This is really good news, guys. We're probably going to get North America. I can't move my 5 in yet unless white goes for, not North America. We're probably going to get Europe because green is making the, it's Australia or die for green. Green really wants Australia, which is good news for me because I don't know what are they going to accomplish going after a 6 and a 10, but Australia or die. That's kind of a joke among Risk players. So what we're going to do here, I'm just going to give red hopefully a little incentive, like, hey buddy, can you move that 1? And we'll end our attack phase. We're at a kind of slow start. I really want that 3 moved, and red knows I want that 3 moved. Now, is red just going to antagonize a player this early in the game? And anybody who does that, to be honest, like if somebody's going out of their way to antagonize players this early, you'll notice as the game goes on, those players tend to get kind of wheedled out if they antagonize too long. Speaking of, like, blue is straight up starting a war with red, which is good news for me because they can kill each other off. So blue is wanting to get in a war when none of us have accrued troops yet. That's great for everybody on the board except the 2 people in the standoff. Black is going to get Australia. They might kind of shrink out their players, and them and green, if this goes like a lot of Australia games, this is one of the reasons I hate Australia at the beginning of the game. When you get unseasoned players and then you get Australia, you are in a dangerous world where basically like 2 people who think that's the only way to win Risk will end up suiciding themselves. I have no idea the play green is doing here. I guess they are taking England. Or they're just wasting their resources and troops. Because they have 1s in England. So, I mean, 8's going to move to the center, and they might move that 6 over, or maybe they don't. Maybe green 6 decides, I need Australia, and suicides into black. Or maybe green pulls back, but that's a really weak start from green. So at this point, I am going to take out this 3. I've given ample time to red to kind of move it. And I want my 3 and my 2 consolidated, and I lost way more troops than I was kind of hoping from that. But that's okay. I just want a big stack at this point. depending on green, it really depends because my goal this early in the game is just not to yeah Gary was saying green should give up Australia. Yeah, and the worst part is I have had so many times that happen to me where I have like a solid 8 up there, and then a dumb player who's newer who thinks that Australia, even if it's not given to you, because initially, like, whatever random places you have on the board kind of inform where you should go. But they'll just suicide into Australia. It's like people are obsessed with Australia. I don't think green is that dumb. We'll see. But I don't know what green's play is here. Do you guys, can you figure out what green is doing other than depleting their power and resources? I think they're hoping that they're going to be able to cash in cards and do just a surprise attack on black, but it's too late. Black solidly has Australia. Let him have Australia. Don't make an enemy of black this early in the game, because black will remember that, and then even if they get weaker, they'll end up suiciding into you, dude. Gary said, if I was red, I'd move into Mexico and help buffer South America. It's not a bad call. The only problem is, this is something I would just say. It's super important this early in the game to make as few enemies as you can. Like, get into your territory and secure it first. So when you're securing your borders, it's tempting to be inside someone else's border. But then you got to realize, if you get that player really worked up, you might have a permanent enemy that's a neighbor for the rest of the game. So you're going to be wasting troops and resources. I moved too fast. They are definitely going to break my territory. I should have moved slower. So I think looking at this, maybe white, probably black is going to break my territory. And black hasn't cashed in their cards, so that might have been a fatal error, me moving so fast. I should have taken it slower. But as you guys know, when I do Europe play, I kind of am testing the waters with my ones to see who my potential allies are. So I'm going to ask blue for an alliance because blue is my neighbor. I'm going to ask white for an alliance. I'm going to ask red for an alliance. You know what? We're just going to ask everyone for an alliance. And then we'll whittle out our alliances as we go, because at the end of the day, like at the very beginning of this game, I want everyone to be my ally. The other thing is, it helps you know who the less seasoned players are. Like, less seasoned players are going to say, no, I don't want an alliance. We're at a war. And they don't understand the political part of this game. And again, like, if they're doing that, that tells me a lot of information about that person. It also helps me know, okay, this person, without masking it, is going to try to get me. Black is now my ally. That's a good thing because he can move that 8 out and just break my territory. And then we're in a little tit for tat, and neither of us win in that equation. Black is also playing the classic turtle strategy. The more modern turtle strategy is to kind of stay right above Australia and kind of buffer that. But the very classic turtle play is to keep your core troops on your continent and then just kind of build a second big army above it and then work your way up and just keep making bigger, like little chunk big armies. I think that's the play they're doing. My play right now is no one's attacked me yet, so I don't have any enemies yet. Although I do have that 22 right next to me that can annihilate me. But it would be mutually assured destruction at that point. Gary said, I don't understand the alliance system in the app. Does it actually do anything? You can break it any time, right? Yep, 100%. So, but alliances do matter. like I said, alliances can function to tell you, like, people who don't take alliances are just very boldly saying they don't want, like, they want war, which is good to know. It's just good intel. They're also telling you they're a newer player because, you know, like here's a question for you guys about Red and what they just did breaking my territory. Red has 22 troops. Does it benefit them to break a 32 at this point in the game and make an enemy of the 32? And also, what benefit is leaving that 3 there for them? So that move, like, they feel like it's a big dog move. That was a newbie amateur move. And of course it's going to, like, annoy me, but now if they take, like, so here's why that's a bad move. Red is not in position to take North America. That's what they seem like they're angling for at this point, because they couldn't hold their territory from Blue. So they're losing troops fast, right? They're in a bad spot. And they haven't been able to cash in their cards. So why, if you're going to move into North America, do you want an enemy right next to Greenland? I mean, we're all enemies at some point, but do you want to be constantly just scaling up your army at all 3 of your borders? Or do you want a free border with good relationships with your neighbors so you can build on your other sides of your borders and you don't have to buffer 3 choke points? So it's just tactical. You have to make allies, especially if you're one of the bigger continents. And so Red right now showed a lot of ignorance in that move. That was a good move by White, but also costly because now I'm stronger than White next turn. Well, not fully, but my army's bigger. But it wasn't a bad move. Like, they saw the opportunity to take out a player. Blue's gone. That's, again, Blue was the most hostile player going into this, and they were the first to go. Red, I can't figure out for the life of me what Red is trying to accomplish here. Green is a little erratic as well. I'm not sure what exactly their objective is. So Gary said, why not offer and take alliances all the time? Well, you do. And you can use alliances to really powerfully, especially when it gets down to a 3-person game. Here's, again, Red just wants enemies. Like, now they have a 2-person war. You can tell they're not, and now that 10, now they're going to be stuck. Even if they get North America, which they're not going to, they're going to have to buffer that 10 for the rest of this game, because the second anybody gets an opportunity, we're going to break his borders. So he's made 2 enemies like 3 turns into the game. Red has. And Green is just chipping away at him, like, because Red can't do anything. But Red is so aggressive of a player. I'm thinking when he cashes in his cards, since Green's been the one chipping at him, Red might very well just, like, suicide Green. The other thing I'm going to do right now that I'll tell you guys that's a strategy. Do you see that 1 in front of that 10 that Red has? White is not happy with Red either, and I'm not going to buffer my borders to prevent White from getting some revenge if White so desires. But I'm also really happy to have this little barrier between me and that 10 from this idiot player. Because they can't break past their own 1 to hit me now. I mean, they can, but, like, again, what is Red's strategy here? Are they going to take South America? They can't hold it with the 21 right next to them that they just attacked. I mean, they're going to try, but, like, what purpose did that hit move? Like, it just, his moves are so erratic, it just shows me that he's not thinking. Because, like, 21 has every incentive to just destroy his South America. They probably will this next turn. It's not going to cost him a lot. It's 2, 4, 6, 7. If I were white just for the lulz, even if it kind of puts me in a bit of a weaker position, I'm going to take out red's continent. And then I'll give it to green. Or green's going to take it right now. But again, red, what are you accomplishing? I feel like red needs to go to therapy and learn about actualizing. But again, like a lot of newer players, I won't be surprised if this game ends and you find out that red's relatively new to this. A lot of newer players think that's the game. Like you aggressively just advance forward. They miss the sophisticated parts of this game that make it fun because it's a very good simulator of like geopolitical realities, right? And think about geopolitics. You don't want enemies right at the gates, right? And if you are going to have enemies, ideally you want a one front war. You don't want to be fighting like a 3 front war if you're North America. You don't want to be fighting a 2 front war if you're South America. Are they going to hit the 10? No, but they're still hitting. That's very fascinating. I am pretty comfortable just kind of chilling here, accruing troops, accruing a little more power. I don't need to get into a vendetta war. The way that white is defending themselves is curious as well. Because the way I play Africa is if you see the 10 to the right of the like actually either 10 to the right of the 24, that's where I would have just a giant stack and then a bunch of ones, because I don't lose much when people break my territory, which inevitably in this game people will break your territory. It costs less to take a hit and you have way more possibility for retaliation and quick mobilization. But here again, red just wants to make enemies. They can't possibly eat away at white, but they are actively antagonizing me, which is going to be interesting. I hope I can cash in some cards. But like they're really angling for North America after pissing off so many people. I don't see how that works well for them. They're also like dividing. Like when you don't have a continent at this point in the game, I wouldn't divide your forces like that, because if you start getting attacked, you can't quickly mobilize a big army. And if you're like doing the freewheeling strategy, that's pretty hard. Like not having fortified like a bulk force. You want a big number if you don't, like at this point in the game, you want a big number if you don't have a continent. Right now, I'm not worried about my territory being broken because I have a bigger number. It's not huge, but there's not a lot of incentive for somebody to hit me at this point, because what are they going to do? Break my territory? It's already broken. And then they piss off the 40 right next to them. Now, black is getting stronger. That's a little scary. Black could take me out. I mean, it would be the death of them in this game. So there you go. I told you white, the first thing they would go for. Once they're powerful enough, people will always destroy somebody who needles them like that. It's like poking a bear. I also don't mind this because now white is a very powerful player. And I think my reaction, I'm going to let red hit me one more time with that 10. Because I like people being mad at red. And if they look at me just being needled by red, I'm just part of the club. And not only that, I want a threat for black. And right now, white is a threat for black, who's their neighbor. I want black to hit white. I don't want to be the first to break them, because that's a lot of power they're accruing. Meanwhile, green and red, it looks like, are probably going to crap out of the game and get murdered pretty quick, because they're just eating away at each other's troops, and they're quickly going to get buried in troop numbers. I'm in third right now. I have 47 troops. Black is in a very solid lead. And green and red are playing like people who don't want to win. Like even red buffering against me, it doesn't make a lot of sense at this point. Like what is red going to do? Unless they want to go through and hit white, which again would benefit me. I have no complaints if red goes through me to hit white. That benefits me. That doesn't hurt me. White will probably make a move to break my territory because I am like a peer and they have like a mass amount of strength right now. But I'm third position. So technically, my theory on this, and a lot of people I've heard theories on this, is it's actually the onus on the second strongest player to take action against the first. So the fact that black is actively choosing not to attack white when they're actually the second most powerful, or yeah, at this point, they're the second most powerful player. They used to be the first. They're going to get out-earned by cards. My thought is, if black's not taking action, I'm not taking action. I will let white grow in power. Also, white's moving pretty quick, and if I need to, I can break both their territories very quickly. Now, it's not going to remain that way, but I want tension. Oh. I just dropped my my device. Hang on a second. I want tension between those players, and not with me. I want black to be cool with me and white to be cool with me. Sorry about that, guys. So I want tension between those players, and I basically want them to know I am not a threat. I'm just here, just accruing cards, but I'm an expensive breakfast. By the way, if 54 is a bad player at this point, they just eat me and I'm done. Again, they'll have like 2 troops after they do that, but that's a possibility. White is very quickly going to be solidifying. They're just out. Well, to be honest, white isn't out earning me. Red is, again, like, why? like, what is their goal? I almost wonder if red is like a newbie that I kicked the crap out of in a previous game. But red wants 2 enemies, and white actually is in a better position to retaliate. I want people mad at red. I want black mad at white. I want green and red just needling each other out. Now, there is a possibility, because this happens sometimes in Risk, that green and red might actually be like the same account. Because they're both playing like very similarly just wacky, like what is green doing? Green wants to take over. Like, are you going to hold Asia with 27 troops? I think green is trying to tell white to like attack my 48, or black to attack like what? Yeah, green and red, man. I almost wonder if I should move out and play a no continent game. Because green and red are just such a danger. Like, they're erratic. They don't have a objective. It's very strange. I'm going to kind of wait it out, but I won't be surprised if red just suicides, because they're just a bad player. And they do have 4 cards. So maybe they cash in those 4 cards and just like hit me or white. They'll probably hit me because they've been needling me this whole game, and they block themselves from an attack on white unless they go through my 48. Which, thinking about it, I should rectify that for them. I'm going to just go ahead and clear a pathway for them to go ahead and hit. Now, they're a new crappy player, so they may not realize, but I'm like pretty much saying like, hey, go ahead and hit white. You got 12, push it into a 17. But they're probably going to think that's an act of hostility opening up their 12. I also don't like that. Like, I kind of feel like maybe red and green are the same account because 27 is now protecting red from me retaliating. I don't like that. And initially they were like carving at each other in this weird way. It's just hard to figure out like what the hell they're doing as players. Like red has 42 troops. They're actually enabling white to get really big and really strong because they're being distracted in this kind of stupid side war. And meanwhile, black is going to turtle themselves to death. Black thinks they're playing the slow, clever turtle game, but black has the responsibility as second position player. If anyone's going to stop white, it's black. This is a weird game. It's not that unsurprising though. Like the way red is playing is very erratic, but it's very common for like a new player. I don't think I would be shocked if when this game is over we find out that like red is like a master player or something. I bet you they're a beginner. And then again, like what is green's objective? Green's eating away at them. They're taking a bunch of 1-point territories that they can't defend. I think green maybe just wants to annihilate red because red has been needling them the whole game. Like it's an interesting game to watch because I think red has literally antagonized everyone on the board. So when red is murdered, I think everyone will cheer with glee. And I think we're all just waiting for one of us to be in position to take him out. Do you want to be that guy on the board? That's my question. You know, do you want to be the guy on the board that every other player on the board is like, I cannot wait till he gets taken out? Because I'm like, at this point in the game, I'm still in an okay position. White is going to get really strong, though, if black doesn't do anything about it. Like 1 or 2 more turns, and white can break black. And they have way more incentive to do so than me, unless they want cards. But they're in way less, like, it's a much harder proposition for them to do that. So at this point, I'm kind of almost approaching this like a turtle strategy because I'm not in position to take my territory. The second I'm able, though, so I think that he probably is going to move his 12 up on me again. Maybe not. So he's such a bad player. So he just cut the 37 off from the rest of his trail. So he can't. So now he like wants green to kill him. That move right there where he could have taken one of my cards, come across kind of like, hey dude, we can. He could have de-escalated this situation at any time. And now I think 31 goes into the 12, but maybe not. No, now he's stuck in my turf. Come a little closer. Come a little closer, 12, to my 57. That's one closer. We were friends. I haven't retaliated. Hopefully this is fun for you guys to watch. I absolutely adore this game. Even the absolute hatred I feel at this point for red for just being a crappy player, it's like palpable. It's really fun. It's exciting. And I'm kind of annoyed at black for turtling so hard that they're going to let white clearly, be in a position where white will be able to break their territory. I think white starts coming at me pretty soon, like chipping at my ones. That's okay. We're not in a rush, guys. Playing long game here. So white is definitely in the strongest position. I want black to break white. I don't think black's that player. I think black might be playing a more passive game. they're waiting for everybody else to kill each other. We're all pretty happy about green and red just killing each other. Red's in a dangerous spot right now. So you got to think. Green has 3 cards. Red just got... okay. No, red has 4 cards. So if green clears out red on this turn, they get to cash in a nice little refresh of their army. So right now, green is probably trying to weigh the cost. Unless they're the same account as red, which wouldn't make a lot of sense because they have been at each other. But green's probably trying to calculate, is this worth it? Can I take red, get his cards? Because red right now is a target for everybody on the board. Because when you're at 4 cards and you're that weak, like, people want your 4 cards. They want that bounty. But I think green's not that dumb of a player, because at least they're calculating, like, that would be... I mean, they've already kind of committed mutually assured destruction. Like, they've both committed suicide at this point. But green at least is a good enough player to not make that move, which they could have, but that would have been the end of both of them. I was hoping they would make that move. I want red to do something erratic, but not suicide me. And I think red right now is the most mad at green, because for some reason, I think they've been like pseudo thinking they're going to take North America or something. Do I do... Oh, it's the worst card set. I don't even want to cash that in. I mean, I probably should cash in any card I can because of the tension in this little corner I'm in. But I want to wait till I have a 10 set, because that was the worst set of cards you can get. Hopefully I have a 10 set or an 8 set. I don't want to cash in at like 2 or 3 extra troops. That's barely worth it. But now I'm a bit of a target. If somebody thought, oh, and you know what? I should have cashed in because I have dick for cards anyway. What is it? Gary said white are looking at your ones, and got it. Yeah, white is looking at those ones. Yeah, I mean, white's in a good position. White is definitely the board leader. White has 104 troops. The second position right now is black, who has a healthy 87 troops. So black is in second place. Black used to be the lead, but black, by taking no action on white, is basically giving this game to white. This is green getting vengeance, but not full vengeance. Oh, green, thank you. This is why I like the passive play. The idiots leave you alone. So now what's funny is you got to think what kind of player red is. They're not a sharer, right? And they've been at it tit for tat with green, actually with everyone on the board, which is why they're like at 29 troops at this point. But now green, this kind of selfish player, won't let anybody have any territory and has cost themselves the game because of their... Yes, I told you guys. Red is not popular, and they are a mass target because they have 5 cards. When you're a dick player and then you accrue 5 cards and you can be taken out, they're going to take you out. Keeping in mind, I have 5 cards right now. Luckily, I don't think anybody's in a position where they can comfortably take me out. You need a big army to hold 5 cards in this game at this point in the game. Just a tip. Like, because if you're holding 5 cards, you're literally saying, like, hey, especially if they're weighing the cost. That was a good move by black, by the way. I think black might get this game. Black's now the lead. White, who might hit me now out of desperation. Let's see if black will be homies. We'll see. I don't think they will. I'm not even going to secure that territory. I kind of don't need to. Now, I could take Australia here, but like a thing to consider is who wins in that equation. So what I'm going to do instead, just to let Black know, like, hey, you're moving into another continent. I'm not going to let you have Asia too, dude. But I'm just going to take a few cards because I just don't want him accruing too many cards. I like him accruing cards. I don't like him accruing cards at my border. But that was a really good move by Black. Because if you're Black at this point in the game, you don't want to be stuck in Australia. Australia is a really bad position to make any moves from. The bad moves by Black are Black has locked themselves in. So their two main armies, unless an idiot like Green breaks the 3 ones and the 3 that's in front of the 33, he has to do 2 turns to move one of his armies forward. So everyone will anticipate who he's going to attack with his big army. All he's in position to do right now is just chip cards from ones, which I think he's planning on feeding on Green as well as me. But it's a good move, but also he's taken himself out of position to where he can commit any aggression against White, and now he has an enemy in Green. So my hope is now Green and Black kill each other. White, however, has been playing this game expertly, and I think White might win this game. Black's in good position, but they antagonized Green. But it was the right call to get out of Australia and start making some action and moves. And it looks like their candidate for card gathering is me. So you guys, this is definitely going to be a no continent game. I'm definitely at risk of... He said attack my territory if you need to, because we're supposedly allies. I like the idea of clearing him up so he can hit White. You know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to go ahead and give him a little heart. And I'm going to free him up and put him in position where he could completely annihilate me. But luckily I have some cards, so that would be a heavy cost move, but he can take me out of the game with this move. But I've been homies with Black, and hopefully that good faith will move forward and they will see the opportunity I just opened for them, which is to break through my territory and hit White. That's what I'm hoping happens. Gary said, if I was White, I'd take South America. Yep, they just did. By the way, though, that was a kind of weird move. It's not bad, but they've left themselves in a position where Black can hit them. However, I think they're correctly reading that Black is not a bold player. Like, this is the point in the game where Black should take the risk to go down, hit that 25 and that 1, and then consolidate his territory back in Australia or back in North America. But they also know my game strategy, and they also know that it's good to make allies. So Black's not a bad player, but they too are taking a risk, kind of hoping that, I think, like, now they're giving White Australia, and that's a pretty bold move too. Does White take Australia? Everybody loves Australia, but a seasoned player knows Australia is almost meaningless at this point in the game. You kind of don't need Australia. I think White is not only going to go for Australia, they're going to go for Asia and full domination at this point. They're also trying to card block me, but they left a 1, so they probably won't card block me till the next turn. But I like that they didn't attack me, and they'd have to be an idiot player to not realize I know what a card block is. That's not an act of a non-ally. That's just, I need my cards. I should have... Crap. I erred there. I should have said, sorry, I have to attack your territory. That's another advantage of having alliances. You can give somebody a heads up. Does Green suicide me because they're a bad player? Or Oh, that's okay. See, now I think black's a little better of a player than I'm giving them credit for. I think black saw the crazy hostility that green is giving and how bad green wants Australia. And they kind of made a Josh move. Like, you want Australia? Have Australia. Now green has to contend with the troops right next to him that can take him out in a few seconds. Then if you have white and green at each other's throats, then we all win. And the Australia calculation that he just made is so smart. And he has a good ally, so he can move that 52 from my border. He knows that. So now he's got a massive army that can also do a lot more damage to my army. And he can focus on white and green. I mean, he's still keeping a 32 there, but the nice thing is by keeping an alliance with me, he can always pull that 32 to 50. And because he's shown good faith, I may not break him. Yeah, black taking North America was a really good call. White is lining themselves up to card block me and green. The way green has erratically been playing, that the whole purpose of card blocking is to kind of you stop players from getting their bonuses. So what white is trying to do is force a conflict with me and black, which isn't going to happen. They should probably do the math and realize that. Like, I can't accrue, 32 troops on my one in a turn to hit black. So because of my alliance and I'm trying to show good faith to black, I've put myself in a position of total trust in black, knowing this game and knowing betrayal is around the corner. But right now, black needs to make allies because black is at 109. I'm at 97. White has about 20 lead. So black needs to start accruing cards. And black is being very smart because this is a big gameplay where you want to make allies. He's got a good ally. He's got a weaker ally, which is me at this point. And he's creating a win-win situation where we're all accruing the same amount of cards. This is where that breaks, though. White is very much looking to move that 62 into Australia. But white is also aware, hopefully. They may not be. This is not a lot of troops, but at this point, the tension's so high that I kind of have to do this. White is either lining themselves up to kill me or to kill green. The better play would be to kill green or to break black because black's a direct threat. But I think they want to take green out because they can comfortably take green, and actually they could comfortably take green right now. They're probably waiting to see if green gets 4 cards so they can get a better payout. Still might not be the best move, though, because they're at 67 minus 37, and then you got your 50 right there by North America. So white is actually not in the best position. They're not in the worst. They're definitely accruing the most cards at this point. So white's at 138 troops. Black is at 126. Black is growing that army on my border, which makes me a little uncomfortable. They might be looking to do the flip where they can take that or a double hit from both sides. Like maybe they want to hit me from both sides. Again, I'm kind of hoping because I've been a slightly good faith ally. Maybe they choose to hit the leader. White is definitely lining themselves up to murder, I think, me. They have a 77 right at my border. Or to defend against black. Right now, I'm third position player. Green expended so much troops in the little war of attrition with red, which I kind of can't blame green for, because if you were watching, red was so aggressive. It's like, I don't think red would let green not war with them. So green is gradually kind of regaining their lead. They're in Australia, which is one of the harder territories to hold at this point in the game, but it's still an advantageous territory, and they're showing enough sophistication to where they've kept that 1 in front of their 54, that black 1, which allows them to exit anytime they need. So if they need to hit somebody really quick in retaliation, they're kind of in position to do so. And I think what I'm going to do on this next turn to try to kind of encourage conflict is open up that 54. I want the 54 clear to kind of hit a couple people. I don't know how many troops I'll have, though, and if that'll be a possibility. This might also be the card blocking moment because white might read that that's something I might do. Because white doesn't want green moving out. Yep. White is really trying to set themselves up to either do a kill move on me or on black. I think either would lose them the game, but it might get them placement higher than whoever they annihilate, which very well could be me. What I want to do right now is I want to open green up. And again, like green's a little erratic. So hopefully they don't see that as a hit. Because what I'm trying to do is say, hey, green, if you're going to suicide, there's this beautiful little 64 there you could just roll right into. But they might also think, oh, screw that, I'm suiciding that guy because they took 2 of my spots because they may not know the game that well. But I think they know the game pretty well. So that's green saying, I don't want black to think I'm going to attack them because they can make me disappear. Gary said white can't take green safely. Green can't take... Yeah, Gary was saying, I'm not sure green can safely take green. Oh, I think you were saying white can safely take green. White, at some point, is going to make the decision to kill someone. And it might be me. This might be the end of the game. But I cannot, at this point, I cannot afford to make tensions any more tense with white. Because at this point in the game, it's like we have like a little armed conflict. Now, what I kind of predict happening, if white wants to take me, which isn't a bad strategy, taking the second to last player isn't a bad strategy at this point. What white might do is try to escalate the situation and move his 20s up. And I do have 4 cards, so I am a target right now. Green has 4 cards too, and green is a much more easily edible target. And white can't attack green unless black breaks white's buffer. White also can't attack black unless they go through me and hit that 50, which would be a smart move because they break me, they hit black. But I think right now what they want to do is build such a big army that is like right under me that they can take me out at a moment's notice. Now their 4-card opportunity is gone, so they have way less incentive to hit me. And we're kind of doing troop accrual almost the same. White has a slight advantage because they've held their territory longer. My territory is probably going to get broken pretty soon, though. I think right now everybody's hungry for green, though. Green right now looks like a really hefty snack. And now green has 5 cards, you guys, that he couldn't cash in. But the cost to get those 5 cards, you're not going to recoup that. That's the weird tension of this game. This is definitely like a Mexican standoff at this point. I'm at 137. Black is in second. So I'm in third. Black is in... this is definitely not my strongest game. Black is in second place with 157 troops. And then let's go ahead and then white is the game leader right now. And green, because of Australia right now, and also because of his war of attrition with red at the beginning of the game, and his somewhat erratic playing at the beginning, is now down to 89 troops. So he's cost himself a lot of troops in that war. Partially, I kind of can't blame him because red was annoying as hell, and we were all happy to see red get eaten. And to be fair, I don't think green is necessarily a bad player. Green's just choked out. Like green, it really is a matter of time before green suicides on someone or someone eats green. Like that's going to happen unless white and black start attacking each other. That was an interesting move, and I think kind of a weird one. So black and white must have an alliance because black just completely opened their border. So black and white might be saying to each other, attack attack magenta, or they're saying attack green. But one of us is going to get it probably this next turn. Because why wouldn't white... Then again, okay, so this is another thing to consider. White is not a bad player. Why wouldn't white hit black? And there's a bunch of different reasons. One is white is game lead right now. He's going to out-accrue everybody in cards, so he doesn't need to hit anyone. At this point, he needs someone to hit him. That someone has to be someone with troops. It literally has to be black. And black this entire game has played the most passive way you can kind of play, which isn't bad. Probably hoping a conflict will break out between like me and white. I won't be surprised because I think we have an alliance or something. Oh, black broke our alliance. I thought black and I had an alliance. I'm going to say make alliance. Okay, so black didn't have an alliance with me. I thought they did because they've been such a good faith kind of ally. Like just chilling, not killing me. This might be the end of me, guys. Because secretly black and white might be like, dude, how about we take out magenta? Because neither of them seem to want to take out... So I'm opening up white to make a full attack if white wants to. And white can clean me out, but they only get 2 cards. Now, the reason I wanted to open them up is like, hey, look at that really pretty 82 that's right next to you. That has 4 cards. You want to eat those 4 cards, don't you, white? White's big right now. They're big and strong. I want them feeling big and strong. I don't think white does it, though. They don't seem like a bad player. White's been a really pretty solid player through this. Yeah, Gary said black and white are sort of containing you. Yes. I think I go second after they eat green. But right now, I think there's 2 plays going on. Black is slowly trying to carve away, I think, at green to kind of eat them. Yeah, see, so they're trying to... What is that? Now I'm curious. So I think white might want to kind of full out break my territory, but not completely break my troops and hope I retaliate or something. They're not card blocking me. That's something that's really interesting. Black is closed out from an attack right now, and I kind of like that position, but I also want to open black up for an attack. Green is in a really rough position right now. Because they can comfortably eat green. That 125 can easily move in there and take out green, and white still has a healthy lead. Well, not a healthy lead. They'd be in second at that point. But they have a healthy amount of territory, which they can't hold because of my 156. This is going to be a tense little standoff here. And I need to work on stuff. How long has this been going? Okay, it's about an hour. That's not too bad. So black carves my 1. Now, people might look at this and be like, why do you have 1s on your border? So let's say I put like 8 on my border in front of that 50. It's like kind of like building an army at the borders of a country. It's just a really hostile move. Yeah, white wants to slowly eat green and eventually card block us. That's the play it looks like white's trying to make. White is also trying to build massive strength that won't be offensive and scary to everyone. Because right now, white is kind of dominating, and they're very close to potentially winning this game. I should have broken. Darn it. Remind me to break. Because now white's in a territory where white is now positioned where black can no longer break them at this point. Black just can't break them. That 50 of black has to go through 3 of mine, and at worst it's going to break one of their little 50s. But their core continent is pretty secure. Green is just going to get whittled away at this point. Green is done. I am going to get left behind pretty soon, but I'm at 172. Black is, sorry, let's see, black, the pacifist black is at 218, and white is at 241. What we want is black and white fighting, or green getting eaten. Black looks like they're lining themselves up to eat green too. And maybe as a byproduct, also a card block. They're in pretty good position to fully card block green. White just broke black. That's something I actually wanted to see. So what I'm going to do here is free up black so they can retaliate. I don't know if they will. But hey, black, you want to get white back? Go for it. Now, white knows what I just did. That might be the death of me. They might just be like, that disloyal. Yeah, so Gary says, white has a lot of advantages, but I still think they take green. They are vulnerable to you. Take you, and they're vulnerable to everyone else. Well, that ends the black and white alliance. And I like it, too, because that frees up the tension on green. Maybe green doesn't get eaten. I still think green might get eaten. Black might just go ahead and eat green. I don't think they will. Oh, see, black knows that play. They're like, F no, man. I'm not. Oh, wait. Oh my gosh, black, I like you a lot. Oh, black. I'm your biggest fan. I'm like black's biggest fan now. We finally got black taking action, doing his second player responsibilities when you're in second position, unless you're super strong and you're accruing a lot of cards and there's not a lot of tension and you don't have incentive, you don't have to attack first player. But when you're second position, like you're second in rank and you're watching some, well, like Gary said yesterday, where Gary was saying, how did they let you build a Death Star and just kill each other? This is exactly how. Like, until somebody gets active, you really just are going to have this slow burn of the game. But now it's exciting. I want to see black clear out white right now. Not all of white, just go all the way up to their 90, or if they're smart, they'll just take all three but the one, so they don't unlock that 90. Oh, very smart. And move that 42 into block. Yep. And hey, you got this buddy with a 1 on your border, so if you need to, you can always move that 50 over. Does white go through me to hit black? Yes. Oh, no. They don't want to make enemies with black. Not yet. Not yet. I'm going to let white build their own little prison there. Because at this point, I don't have a lot of hope of holding my territories, but I have a hope of keeping my troop strength really strong. There's a real chance, because white was like game lead for a long time, and they're going to lose power now because they are accruing way too few troops. There is a heavy chance that they start really having trouble. I'm going to unlock that 119. That's why white wanted to hit me. But I also want white to make that little 1 border so they can't bring those 50s at black or me, so that black can gradually work its way and eat one of those 50s. I also want black to just realize we're homies, man. I'm not building on my border. You can use that 50 to buffer up your troops anytime. That 50 that's at my border, he can consolidate that with his 42 because he has a good ally. Now, he might go against me too. Is white going to eat green? Nope. White's trying to get a little saucy. Oh, and white pointed at me like, attack him. Look, white, I'm going to give you a few more chances. And I'm just going to leave that 3 there because I have this 3 here. So it's not going to cost you a lot, but at least it'll cost you 3 to do what you're inevitably going to do because you're trying to build tension with me now. I want you and black killing each other. Gary says green gets the trophy for best rebound. Yes, but it's a little too late. I mean, green still got a good comeback, and the fact that green survived that standoff, congrats to green. And also, to be fair, I mean, if you saw the beginning of this game, like red just screwed green so bad. I mean, red was trying to screw everybody. White's gonna hit my territory again? Or they don't want an enemy that's 197. No, they're going to hit my territory again. They want... Like, here's my question here, right? I'm the 3rd strongest player. What is their objective here? Do they want me to suicide my 197 into their territory? Because, like, their little 157 army, like, they haven't consolidated their armies yet. Like, they keep poking that bear. I'm not a big fan of suiciders, but when somebody keeps going at me like that, it's a little it's so tempting to just kill white. Because if I take out his 153, he's only got 100 troops left, and then the 138 to his left just like buries him. And then, ironically, green's strategy right now totally wins, right? And that's the Australia play too, where it's like, let them kill each other and then just sweep in at the end. Now, green's being weird. I don't know what they're trying to do. I think maybe green's trying to kill me. I think green's working with white. No, green wants... Okay, green may not be a great player. They're trying to get all those territory bonuses. I guess the card bonuses or something. That's actually not a bad play. I might go out there. Expend a few troops because white's just going to keep breaking my territory. I don't care. White really wants me gone. Here's the question. Do I make the play? Yeah, Gary was saying, I think white is denying you the bonus. Yeah, but denying me a bonus at this point in the game is totally an act of war, and it's a provocation because they keep invading my territory, and we're supposed to be allies. And they don't need that card bonus. They have all of those green ones, and now they're just parked in my territory. I got to think about this. I kind of like this play. Because green was like kind of teaming up. I'm going to let them move their 153 up because they can't hold both territories. So I'm going to let green come in, eat more of my territory. That was me just costing green those things because green's allying with white. So what the hell does he expect? He's going to take them back, but he's going to deplete his troop size in the process. He's also going to take my territory. I knew that would happen. But see, now green and white. So white can close me in at this point. They can kind of lock me in that territory, but it's also making them very vulnerable to black. So I actually want to kind of escalate the tensions here. And I think I probably turtle. Like if white doesn't move up, I think I just give white the US, which is going to provoke black to have to act because they're the two lead players. It doesn't make sense for me to sit in this territory and stubbornly hold it. The two lead players should be duking this out. But if I move out and I allow white to literally take two continents, which black is slowly trying to do, then black's forced to move. So I think that's the right play. Because right now I'm actually keeping tensions kind of like in this whole silly place. So I'm going to just what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go hang out next to my friend. This might be the wrong play, but I think this actually escalates tensions. So I want to be here in a spot where they can easily get past me. And I can also card block green once white takes my territory. And I'm going to let black and white fight it out. You guys want to close me in, have my territory. I don't care. This might be the death of me, but I think it's the best play. Yeah, Gary, I understand that. White's head is definitely nobody's in a position they want to take me slow, but really if white's going to carve at somebody at this point in the game, honestly, I hate to say this, white's best play would be to slowly provoke. But what's funny is white has also closed off their 50s. So now they're in position to take my territory, but they can't. They kind of can, but they can't fully. So they'd have to move their 177, which weakens it and makes them vulnerable to the 156 right next to it. And white's going to be thinking he's going to suicide me, which I'm not going to do. I don't suicide people. It's very tempting because I could literally call this game at this point. I think... Did the 131 just move up? Should I just take his Australia? I mean, he'll suicide me if I do that, but that's a pretty dumb move. I kind of want to take his Australia, but green's kind of a bad... I mean, he's been okay, but he's not a great player. So do green and white team up and both hit me? So see, that's funny. Do you see what happened? I literally gave white what they wanted, and they realized they didn't want it. Does green suicide me? This is the question. Or am I still in this game? You know what? I'm not taking Australia. Green's too erratic. I take Australia. Green takes me out. Yeah. You guys see how this like game just has so much tension and weirdness? Now, does green still suicide me just for the heck of it? Does green hit white now that they have an opportunity to? Yes, they do. That's good, green. Make the game lead really mad at somebody they can eat in 2 seconds. That's what I want. I want you pissing off white. So you'll notice I never broke our alliance. So you got to think, when white's in a position where white can make a kill, who do they want to kill more? They're kind of forcing black to suicide on them, though. This is an interesting thing. So will black suicide? Like, who's going to attack first? Or are they both going to kind of ally after this and be like, wait a minute, if we do this, we all kill each other? This is getting good, guys. Do you remember where I told you about keeping that 1 on his border so he'd feel comfortable to use that 50 as a reserve? Do you see that in action now? It's kind of interesting. I like that 50 being trapped, so he can't even really hit me. But I want to show solidarity. I need to show solidarity with green and with black. So I'm going to open up that 50, which might hit me. And that would suck. But to be fair, white kind of messed with our alliance. And so I kind of want to eat some of their troops. They might come back and take them back with a vengeance, or come back and kill me. Because they could kill me a lot easier than they can kill. But I need to show solidarity with my people here. Because right now I want them to think white's the bad guy. I also want green to feel comfortable to go even further. Oh, green now is trying to get me. That's interesting. He's going to break my territory. I don't think green is that good at this game. I mean it. I don't think he's that good at this game. He's provoking bears. I mean, to be fair, I provoked a bear, but I didn't provoke a bear that's in kill position. Gary said, I would argue it's safe for green to poke white because white is more worried about black and you. Yes. I knew white would kind of retaliate, but look at that. White's not as mad at me because when I retaliated, this is a thing to keep in mind when you're playing Risk. People get more mad at like unfairness. That might have also been opening the 265 to eat me, saying like, hey, eat magenta. But I like this little wall that white made. I think black breaks that wall. But I want to keep green kind of weak, but I also want to keep them a little bit strong. So white is no longer lead. Black is 282. I'm at 215, and white is at 279, and starting and stoking a war with almost an equally sized player. If they go at it, this game is me and green, which I'm pretty comfortable with. If they snap out of it, out of their little yin-yang fight here, I can pretty handily be killed by anyone at this point, especially white or black. So green is trying to sneakily just accrue cards. I'm not going to let them do that, but I'm happy to see them provoke black because they're taking way too much territory from black. So that's good. Now black's only getting 4 troops. I'm not sure black's happy about that. So the question is, who's black more mad at? White, green, or me? If you were playing this game, who would you want gone first? That was a smart play. The problem is, and you guys should keep this in mind with Risk, there is attacker's advantage. So if you know like 100% somebody's going to suicide you, it's better for you to hit them first because you get better rolls. So that's actually one way that the game kind of moves forward. Black just said well played, but that was not well played. So white just suicided out, and I'm in position to eat white and black. And green is not. This game might be mine. I'm definitely in position to eat them both, and both have been kind of assholes this whole game, so I'm going to eat them. Probably on my next turn. Does white do the jerk move? Oh, white's going to eat black for me. That's good. Eat it. Do they have any cards? Is it even worthwhile eating them? At this point, I kind of don't even care if it's worthwhile. Because white breaking our alliance and kind of unnecessarily needling me this whole game. And also, I have more troops than green, so I can afford a couple troops. Let's eat white. After all, this is a game. We should have some fun with it, right? It's very fun to kill white. It also gets me a lot of territory. I think I put... Let's see. Okay, we'll put like an 11 there. And then we'll kind of eat this territory. I may not fully eat white. Do they have cards? They have 2 cards. Maybe I put them in a position where... Because they can't cash in. And green isn't in position to take out white either. So maybe I just take their territories. Or maybe I have time. I think I'm going to run out of time. It sucks. I don't want to eat that 10, though. Yep. So if I was going to run out of time, I'm like, I want to leave that 10. Green's in a rough position right now. They want to eat white, too. They have no cards to cash in. So they're going to get 5. 5 can't take 10. So they know I'm going to get that. They probably know that white's going to try a little vendetta run, gain another card before I eat white. So right now their only play is to like try to break some of my territory bonuses. And they'll be lucky if they get to America. Now white's going to break my territory in America, but by the time I sweep through... Now if they're smart, they're going to move that 135 out. So it's in play. If they keep that 135 in Australia, which I'm hoping they will do, then this game is mine. Okay, they're not a bad player. And like I said, I knew white would break me, and that's okay. And I knew white would suicide me. That's pretty obvious, but what's a 10 going to do? I have cards to cash in, which is beautiful, and it's a nice 10, so now I can clean out white. So let's do that. And take their cards, which, again, like, now I get a little card bonus from them. I don't think I get cards that I get to cash in, though. They aren't at that much. So what I want to do now is take as much territory as I can. So that this game is going to be ending pretty soon. I might get beaten here. This is a pretty tense ending. Like, we're pretty close. But I think I outnumber green still. Do I? You guys tell me the number. So I'm at this point where I've kind of dominated the entire board. Oh, crap. Okay, so green might get this because I ran out of time. If I had hit green and left him at like 38 troops, he'd be in real dire straits. But I ran out of time. I need to move faster. This might be green's game now because of that error. And green's going to slowly take a bunch of continents. But I'm kind of surprised because it looks like they're trying to break territory, which is interesting. Green 100% has to try and finish it now. And if they're smart, they'll take out my 111. I think they should bypass. Like, if they're smart, they'll just go direct because they're running out of time. They need to hit my 111 because my error was I didn't hit their 121. I think I still win this game. Are they going to hide in Australia? Yes, I have this game. I can't believe they went to Australia. All right, guys, this game is mine. That was their error. If they had hit my stack right there, if they had hit my 111, they would have had a chance in hell of winning this. But the fact that they didn't is going to give this game to me. And I know it looks like I'm outnumbered, but that was a really big error on their part. I'm going to go ahead and close this. I got to move faster, though. It's a really tight timer, and I'm not like playing on a mouse. That's the only downside of kind of playing on the app. I need to get to their 119. So I need to just bypass, like I was saying they need to do. And I really hope I get to it, because if I get to that 119 and I'm able to hit it, they have no chance in hell of winning this game. Yep, they have no chance in hell of winning this game. And I'm going to go ahead and move my 11 here. So they're at 32. I'm at 71. Do the math. Gary was saying, oof, yeah, they blew their shot. That's what they should have done. Is the right call on their part. They actually did play it well in some cases. Like, some of it was very well played. It was the right call to take all of the US. That was the right call, but the fatal error was not, once they had taken South and North America. Like, this is a fatal error too. Are they going to keep their 23? Like, where are you going? They should take out my 10. I'll be surprised if they get this. It might be possible. I think they think like securing a continent is the point at this point. And at this point, you just need to take territory. All territory. Yeah, I think it's a little too late. So let's I'm gonna move up and down. I want to hit that 10. So I'm going to arc my way around and get that 10, which will secure their position. Do they have a bonus? They don't have a bonus coming up either. So if I hit that 10, kind of game over. Oh. Their turn? Gary said, it's just a game, Green, take a chance. Well, to be fair, Green took a beating from Red at the beginning of this game. I am so surprised I won this game. I'm actually really surprised. This was really tense. I thought that White had it. And if White and Black hadn't like murdered each other, one of them would have been the leader. But that's the tough part about kind of being on the top. The play that saved me here was moving out of the way of England and just giving it to White. And then they did the math and they're like, wait a minute, I can't even hold England. like, what am I doing? So we have dominated the world by being patient, kind to our neighbors, and tactical. And I appreciate you guys watching Risk. And look at that. We beat a master who was Black. White was an expert. You know what? Okay, what did we think of Red's erratic playing? Of course, Red was a beginner. Green is a beginner with much more potential than Red because Green played very well for a beginner. Blue was pretty erratic too. So there you go. But I beat another master. So there we go, guys. And by the way, I'm like a novice rank on 1v1. So let's show FFA. Because I haven't really played 1v1. I think I've played like 3 games of 1v1 because it's boring to me. All right, guys. That'll do it. Now I'm going to go work on comics, which I need to do. But thanks for hanging out with me and watching Risk. And let me know in the comments section if you enjoy these games. I am one step closer. You'll see that little yellow bar. That kind of needs to go all the way to the right for me to get to Grandmaster. So I'm about a quarter of the way there. So far, the path has been pretty good. I've been on a roll lately. This one, I'm really surprised I won. There's a couple miscalculations I made early on. And honestly, it was pretty tense throughout the game. So I'm a little surprised the tactics I used worked. But the other thing that's really important is when you're at that point in a game where you can take action and clear the board, you have to. Because if I hadn't moved at that point, it very much could have been Green's game. Because once the math lines up, you have to act. All right, guys. Thanks, Thomas Adams, for the thumbs up. And if you guys enjoy these streams, I will continue to do them. And if you don't enjoy these streams, I probably will continue to do them because I enjoy playing Risk and it clears my mind to work on comics all night. So I'm going to go work on comics. Have a good day. Have a creative day. And hopefully maybe this helped you get a little better at Risk if you're interested in kind of improving your game. Or amused you because I played so poorly. So, but anyhow, thanks guys. And I will see you on the next stream. Bye.